Party time, excellent.
Get that stuff out of here. It's Southwest Bias.
Welcome into Southwest Bias live from the brand new Studio K, brought to you by our friends at Circle K. Make sure to sign up and become a member of the Inner Circle today by downloading the Circle K app. I don't know if any of you watched Rich Eisen last night on SportsCenter. I did, because it was the first time in years that Rich Eisen had hosted the program. And for me, it was like a time machine, because they brought back the old SportsCenter intro, the music, some of the segments they used to do, like Did You Know? These things that reminded me of why I fell in love with sports. These things that reminded me about the fact that, hey, you can have fun when it comes to sports, even if you're sitting in front of a camera and behind a mic. I think we forget that a lot, because that was the core of why a lot of us fell in love with SportsCenter and sports back then. Why we sat there and we thought maybe we'd want to be in this seat someday. It definitely was the reason for me. That and Al McCoy. Those were the two reasons why I wanted to be in this business. And it wasn't because I wanted to shout. And it wasn't because I wanted to talk about the latest drama. It wasn't because sports was a great storyline. It was because sports were fun. It was because the drama that I cared about was what happened on the court and the field. What happened in between the lines. And that is what I hope we can get back to in Arizona sports. I got stuck on an elevator today in the new building for a good 15 minutes. Like literally stuck. The way that you see on the TV shows, right? And no, I did not establish a pee corner. It was just me in there. I wasn't all that concerned. But it also made me think, why do we worry about so many ridiculous things? I just sat there with my own thoughts. And that's where we are with sports, yelling about weird topics that are just drama. I want to have fun. And I think that there is a team that's going to provide that. Yeah, ASU and Kenny Dillingham provided that late last year and into January, and maybe they can do that again. The Cardinals have some hope, definitely. But the team that I'm looking at squarely in the face and thinking, this team has the potential to be fun, is the Phoenix Suns. Devin Booker and Jalen Green, I think, are the two guys that can really bring that this year. Because Devin Booker, and you can call me crazy for this, and that's fine. And I don't mean this as a hot take, but we haven't seen Devin Booker as numero uno, the number one guy, the guy that's going to be a primary offensive leader, the primary scorer on a team in a handful of years. I think Devin Booker could compete for the scoring title next year. I think we're going to see Devin Booker, the kind of Devin Booker we came to expect and love early in his career and during that finals run. I think Devin Booker is going to be that explosive scorer again. Jalen Green is an athletic freak. He's 23 with energy, with ability, the kind of guy that has been a very long time since we've seen playing basketball here. I want to see high-flying dunks. I want to see athleticism. I want to see the kind of thing that made us all fall in love with basketball in the Valley. 7 seconds or less, the Purple Gang from Phoenix. These teams that were high energy, high octane. You knew what you were going to get night in, night out. I think Jalen Green and Devin Booker can give that to us. I don't think they're going to be world beaters, right? I think they're 38-40 wins. Better than last year. We've talked about it. But I think they could be very exciting because, in part, Devin Booker and Jalen Green. But then you've got Oso Ighodaro and Ryan Dunn, who are intelligent, smart, and play basketball with a zeal, with a excitement. We saw that in flashes last year, but they're going to get a real opportunity this year. Kaman Malawach is a heck of a story and another guy that brings great perspective and excitement on the court. Ryan Fleming is another guy that is, Rasheer Fleming, not Ryan. Rasheer Fleming is another guy that is an athletic freak that's going to bring that excitement and another level to it all that we haven't seen. And he's going to get minutes this year. And then Dylan Brooks is going to bring that edge, that grit, that toughness, that kind of just that guy that gets under your skin if you're a fan of another, if he's on another team. But when he's on your team, you're gonna root for that guy. He's gonna have Devin Booker's back anytime somebody just looks cross-eyed at him, right? Just gets angry. Dylan Brooks is gonna bring that. I want to have fun, and I think they're gonna provide it. I think the Suns are gonna provide the fun. They were the ones that started us down that slippery slope of not fun, depressing, those kind of things. That whole Big Three era started that. But I think they can be the ones that propel us back into fun, better perspective, less of the crap, right? The Ketel Marte drama is just that. It's drama. I don't want reality television for sports. If I want that, I'll sit down, I'll watch Bachelor in Paradise or Love Island with my wife, right? But if I want to get away from that, if I want to get away from the drama of my life, you know where I've turned for years? Sports. I don't need more of it. And I want to see that excitement. I think the Suns can be that. I think Kyler Murray can be that this year. I don't want the drama. Watching Rich Eisen last night was a breath of fresh air. There was no panel discussion. There was no let's debate the topic here. There was no not top 10. No, we got the staples. We celebrated sports. That was what it was. And I don't want us to be Pollyannic and stick our heads in the sand and everything's great with every team. That's not what I'm talking about. I think you can have critique about a team if they're not playing well. You can have critique about Torey Lovello's decisions as a manager, Devin Booker's shot selection. Like those are the kind of discussions that I think are fair to have and warranted to have. But I don't care about what the guy's doing in the locker room, right? I care about the vibes of the team. I hate that word, but it fits. I think we can have productive discussions, but I don't need the drama. I want to have the fun. I want to enjoy my teams again. Like we said yesterday, I'm not a journalist. I'm a yearnalist. I yearn for these teams to play well. I yearn for a championship. I yearn for us to have a great conversation about the sports we love. That's what I'm looking for, and I think Devin Booker, Jalen Green, and this Suns team can provide it. But maybe that's just my Southwest bias. We welcome in the mustache behind the Mac, Shane Diefenbach. Shane, how are you, my friend?
Lovely.
What was the generation of SportsCenter you grew up
on? I mean, it was Highlight Central. Like that was what.
Who were your anchors?
I don't know.
Was it not a seminal? Like, was it not like a huge program for you?
No, it was never something that I sat down and just consumed the entire thing. It was always a stopping by or having it on the background.
See, in my era, old man yelling at clouds. It was the big show. It was Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann. It was Rich Eisen and Stuart Scott. It was the show that you tried to watch at night. And then they replayed it all morning, the same one. So you were memorizing catchphrases. Like the replays, you weren't. It was kind of in the background, but you kind of knew. Oh yeah, this is going to be the great Ken Griffey Jr. Play. Kenny Mayne was another guy, Like, and it meant something. Yes, hello says Espo, quote unquote, before the internet. Yeah, I understand highlights aren't going to be the big thing anymore on these shows, but they had fun. They had fun with it, and I feel like we've lost that. Even ESPN is now just shouting heads, and I want to. That's kind of what this program's been about, right? And I think even times we lose our way on that. But Rich Eisen reminded me of that. I'm surprised you weren't a big Sports Center guy.
No, it was,
but
it was always just on the background. Like, it wasn't something that I was sitting down and watching. I don't know. I mean, when I grew up watching sports, it was always appointment television for events rather than keeping it on and constantly consuming it. I was a big sports movie guy and more of the bigger productions. But Stuart Scott was like the main guy that I remember watching as a kid.
He was, fantastic. Yeah. I mean, it's a shame. And Rich Eisen talked about this because he used to be his co-host on SportsCenter. He kind of honored him last night. It is a shame that cancer cut him down way too early. But let's have some fun. And a thing that I want to have a little fun with, Shane. I saw this morning. Devin Booker apparently is in some edition of Vogue. And told Vogue, they're the only ones I'll tell everything to, Devin Booker says of his beloved dogs. And this whole photo shoot is Devin Booker with his 2 dogs. I only know Haven. I'm actually wearing the Book One Havens right now. I don't know what his other dog's name is, so forgive me on that front. But I sat here thinking, what's the hottest take? Like, what's the thing that Devin Booker has told the dogs?
Is Hector.
Hector. Haven and Hector. Good to know. I just sat here wondering what's like the hottest take that Devin Booker has told these dogs, or what's the biggest secret? Like, was he like, I just don't think Mike Budenholzer can get this done. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. Did Hector and Haven, hear that? Was that like the kind of things? Is he treating them like a diary? Is he talking about his relationships with the dogs? The only thing, I think this is wholesome. I love it. I'm a pet guy. I think it's cool that he has that relationship. The only thing, if Devin starts thinking that they're going to respond to him, that's when I'll be concerned. It's unique. It's an interesting photo shoot interview that they had there. You don't really hear a lot of athletes talking about how their dogs are their confidants.
So I know these are Cane Corsos, but
they're what?
Cane Corso. That's the name of the dog brand.
Okay.
I almost said brand of the dog. That's the breed.
That's the brand.
My friend in college had a pit bull. Rest in peace, Mowgli.
Okay.
And Mowgli was the sweetest boy, but
named after Catino?
Named after the Jungle Book.
Oh, okay.
Mowgli was the sweetest boy, but I swear he was maybe 2-3 years away from speaking. He would look at me with his eyes, and you'd be talking to him, and then you would almost see his lips moving like a human. He was so close.
Were you sharing your deepest, darkest secrets?
Oh yeah.
With Mowgli there, just like Hector and Haven are getting books ones.
I completely understand what Devin's saying here.
Do you think Hector's jealous that Haven got shoes named after him?
I think Hector's going to get some shoes named after him.
We'll see if he gets those with the book.
It'd be very disappointing if he didn't get shoes named after him.
It really would. That's our first dry heat segment here today. On the other side, we're going to have some more fun. I said, you know what? We need to do another Tearing Up Tuesday, but what do we talk about? One of the most debated in a good way, not drama, but debated in terms of having fun with sports topics. You'll find out what it is right after that here on Southwest Bias. Got to tell you about Circle K. I stopped there this morning. I was running out of gas, both physically and in my car, and said, you know what? I gotta stop and get gas. I got my 5 cents off per gallon because they take care of me like that because I'm a member of the Inner Circle. And then I went, oh my gosh, why am I getting 30 cents off? per gallon right now. And I remembered I'd bought 3 Coke Zeros a couple days ago, and I unlocked 25 cents off per gallon. So I combined the two. I was saving 30 cents per gallon just because I was a member of the Inner Circle. You can become a member of the Inner Circle for free. Yeah, it doesn't cost you a dime, but it's going to save you money. And there's no catch either. It's just that easy. So download the Circle K app, right? And all you got to do is put in a little information. That's simple. Then you're going to be a member. You're going to get 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. Then you're going to get 3 cents off per gallon. Then you're going to hit that ESPO level. And you are going to wind up getting 5 cents off per gallon. Plus, they've got a fuel day on the 21st, so you're going to save 40 cents off per gallon if you're a member of the Inner Circle. So join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply like everything in life. At participating locations, visit CircleK.com for details, and Mountain America Credit Union. When you save that money, you're going to need somewhere to put it. Why not put it in a MyStyle checking account, right? Why not put your money in there so you have easy access after you save it at Circle K? You can do it, and they've got everything that you need in this account. It's an account built with benefits and built in mind for you. You're going to wind up with the MyStyle checking account getting the perks that you want, like restaurant deals. We all eat out. Why not get a deal for mobile phone protection? I drop this thing daily. If I break the screen, I want it protected. Or if I break something worse, they've got you covered. Telehealth access. I just had a telehealth doctor's appointment right in my office because I don't have time to go anywhere. I'm here working. They got that too. Identity protection, loan rate discounts, offers on travels and events, and so much more. Make MyStyle your lifestyle at Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/MyStyle to apply. Membership required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration/activation. Terms and conditions apply and exclusions apply. Insured by NCUA. Shane, we're going to tear it up here on this Tuesday. I got a special one, Shane. We're going to see who's the king of Camelback when it comes to all-time Arizona sports logos. Shane, are you ready for this? Are you a logo guy, a uniform guy?
Yeah, let's get into it.
I dug deep into the bag today. Like I racked my brain on this list. It's not just your run-of-the-mill Arizona logos. I went minor league. I went obscure leagues. I went ones that you may not remember, and even special events, right? So the whole premise is simple. We start at the bottom of Camelback. It's going to be who's on the path, right? Who's just at the base. Then who's on the trail. We're going to look at all this until you can see the summit, and then who's at the peak, right? We're going to do that. Best logo in AZ sports history, and we start at the bottom of the mountain, as always. And this is where I dug particularly deep, right? I looked at it, and I went back in time to the mid-'80s, before professional football was really in Arizona. The USFL was a spring league, decided to come to Arizona, and they had unique branding. And we inherited the Arizona Wranglers, right? And this logo was fun. It was basically a cattle brand with a W with horns on it and a wacky font that said Wranglers. And it is one of my favorite logos ever. It got hats with it on it. It is spectacular. If you're not familiar with the USFL and that team, I highly recommend you go read the book Football for a Buck by Jeff Pearlman. You will learn so many things, not only about that team, but about the fact that they traded complete rosters with the Chicago team and then turned into the Bandits by the end, or not the Bandits, the Outlaws by the end of their run. That is my first logo on the bottom of the mountain. The second, none of you, I highly doubt that any of you are going to remember this. It's older than Shane and didn't exist by the time Shane was born. It's the Arizona Sand Sharks. That is a tough name to say. The Sand Sharks were part of an indoor soccer league that played at PHNX Arena. And the logo is so cool. It is a shark with sunglasses kicking a soccer ball with its tail. Now, the team name makes no sense. There are 0 sharks in Arizona, And I've never heard of any sharks living in sand. In fact, I'm pretty sure they drop dead if they did. But the logo has been one that anytime I've seen since I was a kid, it makes me smile. I think it is just a ridiculously genius 90s logo, and it had to make the list. The next is an event, right? An event, these logos count as Arizona sports logos. It was Super Bowl 30, and the Triple X logo with the Western flair, the Southwest flair to it. I thought this was classic, well done, a very easy logo to understand and get behind, and it said Arizona, especially in the 90s when that was a style that everybody kind of had in their house out here in the Southwest. That is one of my favorites. The Arizona Hotshots, another spring football league. The AAF, the Alliance of American Football, lasted like 7 games. They played at Sun Devil Stadium. They still have not paid Sun Devil Stadium for playing there, is my understanding, after the league went bankrupt. You see the helmet on the desk every day on the program. The Arizona Hotshots have the coolest logo.
Man, go Shots.
One of the coolest logos.
I went to one of those 7 games.
I watched them all on television. I didn't want to brave the September heat. I almost went to the opener. But the cool axes crossed, the AZ
Such a great logo.
in flames. I also loved the different color scheme.
Yes.
We get a lot of orange and purple and red and sand. This was yellow, green, orange. It was so different from the rest of them, and it had a tie to something that's very important in Arizona, those firefighters that fight those fires up in the mountains here in Arizona. So that is the base of the mountain there. That is the foundation upon which we build.
Not yet, right?
No,
aren't there 5?
Yeah. There is one more. It is the sun's sunburst logo, but from the 70s and 80s. That traditional look there, not the main logo, the burst that you saw on the shorts back in the day. It started that tradition of being able to read the suns, whether it's upside down or right side up. It is a fun logo. So that is the base of the mountain. Moving into that next tier on that hiking path is the Arizona Diamondbacks original snakehead logo. When I look at this, I think of the 90s. I think of when that team launched. I think of some of my best baseball memories. It has the purple and green. It is fantastic. Next, I go way back to the 70s and 80s and hockey in the Valley. Before the NHL was even a dream in anybody's mind, we had the Phoenix Roadrunners of the WHL and International Hockey League. They were a staple playing at Veterans Memorial Coliseum, and they had that classic Roadrunner with the hockey stick. One of my favorites, a very clean logo. The 90s, we go back there, and this is a simple logo. They didn't overthink it. They brought in some of those 90s colors like the teal, and they simply put a snake head in the center of an R to make that R shape. It's the Rattlers R logo that was prominent in those early days when the team was dominant here in the Valley. I love that logo. Fun fact, at one point, Jerry Colangelo thought about naming the Diamondbacks the Rattlers, taking the logo and color scheme from that team and renaming the arena football team and having the MLB team be the Rattlers with that R. Didn't happen. We obviously got the Diamondbacks, but fun little fact on that. This next one will probably surprise people. We go to the college ranks, and I go up north. I go to NAU, and this Axe logo that they unveiled a handful of years ago, I think is one of the best. It's got the Axe blade with the NAU word mark with the mountain in the A making the center. I think it's clean. I think it's simple. You think of Northern Arizona, and when it's on those matte blue helmets, it is perfection there. Moving up the next level on the mountain, baseball, minor league baseball. Phoenix Muni, where the crowds are puny, but the logo is damn good. It is the Phoenix Firebirds logo, the Firebird rising from the baseball. It is a simple logo again, hand drawn. Back then, this was not computer generated. It is an iconic logo that people still buy hats for out there in the day. They buy hats, and some of them, it has an orange glow to it. Obviously, the Firebirds had the blue as part of their color scheme, but I love that logo so much. It's such a clean and classic logo that I think it is just fantastic. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with it, but I love it. Sparky is next on our list. The classic Sparky. It's a good logo, right? It's not a great logo, but the story behind it.
What?
I don't think it's great. I think it's good. I think it's classic. Some people feel it's very cheesy. Some people say, "Oh, he looks like Ron Jeremy." But
It's
the story,
unique.
the story behind it is what makes this logo. They hired a Disney animator to do this logo for them back in the 60s. And he actually made it look like Walt Disney is the story.
Is the story.
I don't know that it's 100% true, but when you look at it, you can actually see it. You can kind of see Walt Disney in it. I love that. It is much better than the Pitchfork logo. I think this is iconic, and it should be on the helmet every day that ASU football plays. Next on the list, we go back to an event again. A single event logo that has lasted the test of time. We even saw it come back as part of a City Connect uniform for the Suns last year. It's the 1995 All-Star logo. That look, the basketball that's supposed to look like a sunset, the cactus, the star, and even the secondary lizard mark that they had. This was an unbelievable look. That is why it makes it on this section. Next, and I am not pandering to the Wildcat over my shoulder or anybody in Tucson that has taken umbrage with any of my lists, but the Cactus Mountain, Arizona logo is a top 3 logo in Arizona history. Across all Arizona sports, it is beautiful. The fact that it is back on the court is fantastic. It was a travesty that it ever moved off the court. It was great on the helmets that they brought out a few years ago. It is spectacular. I love that logo, and it should be a primary logo that the Wildcats bust out all the time. Next is a mark that you think of Phoenix when you see it. It is synonymous with Phoenix. It's also synonymous with heartbreak. It is the Sunburst logo. That is unbelievable. I love it, but it also sometimes should be pointing the other direction because it's sad. I picked the wrong tier to put this in based on the color. It matches it, but the Sunburst logo is spectacular. I love this one. It is very much synonymous with Arizona and Phoenix. But at the top of this mountain, there is only one logo that could sit at the peak. And it is actually an animal that would sit at the peak of Camelback Mountain. It is the Kachina Coyote logo. You may no longer have the Phoenix Coyotes or the Arizona Coyotes in this state. We may never get them back. We may never get hockey back, but this logo will stand the test of time. People will be buying this jersey for decades to come. People hated the logo when it came out. A lot of people did. It got panned. The NHL hated it, but it made a massive comeback because of the fans loving it. I still love it. It's shaped like an A for the state. There's all sorts of little hidden things in it. It is such a great logo. You can pull it apart. You can use the moon on the chest, which they did as an alternate logo. The coyote head was used as a logo. This is the perfect logo in Arizona sports history, and that's why it is at the top of Camelback Mountain. Do you agree with the list, Shane?
Yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of the Suns' current logo, if I'm going to be honest. But I also think it's just fatigue.
What, like, did you?
It's just a little bland for me. Like with like how much like they use the color purple and how much they, I just feel like they picked the worst color to be their dominant color on the logo.
I almost took the 90s one that had the purple rectangle behind it. I like that.
Yeah.
But it is such an iconic logo.
I actually think the Phoenix coming out of the basketball is better than the Sunburst.
I hated the Phoenix.
I
coming out of
understand
basketball.
why, but
I hated it with a passion.
as long as you have the Kachina on top, then this list is valid.
The Kachina is the only answer.
The U of A logo, I think the U of A logo and the ASU Sparky are in the same tier, in my opinion. I think they're both too.
I can agree to disagree. I love that cactus.
I do too. I think
more than Sparky.
I think if we're gonna go 2B, it's the Sparky, and 2A is the Arizona cactus.
That is fair. That is another edition of Southwest Bias in the books. If you don't like my tiering, we're going to hear about it on social media, so you can join the conversation there. Or if you love it, let's hear it. You can follow us at PHNX_sports to do that. You can follow the mustache behind the Mac at Shane Deef. You can follow me at Espo. And remember, sports are fun, or at least they should be. Ahoy, hoy!
We all silly like the mayor.